What's going on, people? It's the post-match fan show. Tottenham 1, Liverpool 2. I still don't know how he lost that game.
It's a bit frustrating. I think we all know. It's going to be quite interesting to see what other people are going to say about this. But yeah, 2-1, fair result. Probably when we look at what's happened throughout the game, but still disappointing. Still disappointing.
Yeah, looking at the post-match comments and everything else, Mo Salah said they were lucky in the first half. They played quite good and managed to score 2 goals. In the second half, we could have scored, but we were unlucky. They did well to get the 3 points. And look, the stats, post-match stats, and they don't read for very good reading. Spurs have lost consecutive Premier League home games for a second time under Antonio Conte.
Yep.
Having previously done so in February this year versus Southampton and Wolves. They had won 8 in a row at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium prior to these back-to-back league defeats. We're winless in our last 10 Premier League meetings with Liverpool.
Yep.
Liverpool picks up their first away win in the Premier League, Dr. Tottenham, and this was the first time ever that Spurs had trailed by 2+ goals at half-time in consecutive Premier League home games, Newcastle and Liverpool, and we lost both of them 2-1. When are we going to start? I mean, I thought we had an okay first half, but when are we going to start playing games starting games how we finish them?
When you get a better team, a better squad, better squad of players, a squad of players that the manager can trust. You know,
yeah,
we know there's a certain way Conte is going to play, but at the same time, if you want us to be expansive, we're going to lose 5-0 every week.
Yeah,
you saw Dyer make that mistake. Can you imagine if it's constantly coming at him?
Yeah.
So, yeah, until you get the players that the manager is more comfortable with, you will start probably getting a better. You know, it won't be a second half team. We'll be blowing teams away in the first half. You know, so but yeah, if you don't give him the tools, you're going to get this.
You are, unfortunately. And let's get straight into this. And the first person, he's not going to hold any punches, is Brian Daigle. How you doing, Brian?
Wonderful. Wonderful. I've never been happier. Fantastic second half performance. We can all be happy that we pulled out a fantastic second half. We won that second half 1-0. Let's all be happy and have some excuses. Fantastic. Brilliant.
Okay,
Brilliant.
Brian.
If there was a trophy for second half performances, we're top of the fucking league. Whoop-de-doo.
Okay.
Let's go.
There you go. First of all, how are you besides the football? Let's get into the niceties first.
No, mate, listen, I'm good. I'm chilling with the Stell's come out for a few days, so I've got... There you go. There he is. He's come out to Toronto before he goes to Chicago. I'm coming back to London. Yeah, skittles and rainbows in my personal life. All tickety boo. Lovely, wonderful.
Do you think though, Brian? I'm kind of sat in. I'm disappointed that we've lost, but I'm not actually as disappointed as I thought I would be, based on that performance.
Listen, I said to you before, and I tweet, mate, I'm sick of this. Don't worry, wait till we click. Don't worry, Arsenal will fall off a cliff. They haven't, we haven't. But it's okay. It's okay. The January window's coming. We'll relax. The World Cup is a good time. We'll just keep making all the excuses we want to do. And for the people that want to say I'm negative, crack on. Crack right on. Because I want better for my football club. And performing second half performances and having to go 2-0 down to then go, do you know what? Maybe we should try and do something. And then you bring on Kulusevski, who's injured, and does more in 80 seconds than the team do all. Yeah, let's all be happy about it.
Do you not think, though, Brian, in the first half, after they scored, we were pretty much on top until Eric Dyer makes a massive mistake?
Yeah, but mate, we don't play football to go, yeah, we were on top. We don't play and go, woohoo, we won possession. We're going up the league in possession. We support football to watch our football club score more goals than the other team, to get 3 points and climb up the league.
Okay. We do, Brian. But would you, Brian, we're going to be in the top 4 regardless of what happens next week.
Let's have a trophy.
No, listen.
Let's have a trophy. Let's have a top 4 trophy.
No, but Brian,
Wicked.
and I think if you'd asked any fan, we would have topped our group and got through into the knockout stages, and we'd have been in the top 4 come the World Cup, would you have taken that at the start of the season?
Mate, I've openly come out and said that. But when you look at our defence that's going into the Champions League knockout groups next week or tomorrow, Dyer, Longley and Davies. Yeah, other Champions League teams are shitting themselves at that. Absolutely are. Oh yeah, let's not forget Emerson and Cess as well. And I've been backing Cess up, but they're all going. Oh no, let's avoid Tottenham. It's 2 legs, so we'll probably only turn up for one of them anyway because we're a second half team, aren't we?
So did you find that obviously in the second half we were probably a lot better, but obviously it's becoming a bit of a problem with Spurs at the moment.
Mate, we're bipolar Hotspur.
do you feel like you can see something around the corner, or is it like now you're fully gone?
I've seen someone around the corner for 15 years. 15 years I've seen something around the corner.
Do you think, Brian, is it just a top 6 problem or it's something else? Because if you look at the results this season, Chelsea draw, Arsenal lost, Man U lost, Newcastle lost, Liverpool lost. Is it a mentality issue?
Arsenal won, and you're forgetting another team in that. You're forgetting Newcastle United.
Yeah, no. That's our results.
That's our results.
Our results. Are we having a problem against the top 6 when we're going into these games? We are not performing the way we kind of expect to.
Well, mate, what I will say with the players we've got, we seem to go into these matches worrying about the other team's strengths and trying to combat them rather than other teams that go to these grounds and play to their team's strengths rather than worrying about the opposition's. Which is what we do. We don't think, right, we've got our strengths, let's utilise them. It's no, let's combat them. Let's combat them and then see if we get lucky.
Absolutely. I mean, Brian, look, the penalty appeal in the first half, is there much difference between the one from Cancelo's one and Trent's one? I'm not trying to say it would have made a difference.
The referee and VAR, once again, were fucking horrific. Horrific. There were so many chances or so many opportunities that should have gone to VAR and looked at more closely, and we should have got. But again, as KPV said, I'm going to take one of KPV's sayings. Liverpool have struck again.
So do you think that's part of the problem today? Then you look at it and you go, actually, if we get the penalty in the first half, we go in at half time 1-0. We turn up as a second half team and obviously put Kula on. Do you think it would have been a totally different game if we had the decisions go with us than against us like we always do against Liverpool?
But you know what it is, Marlon, though? With Tottenham Hotspur, we shouldn't have to rely on that. We should be able to turn up in the first half and at least give a decent account of ourselves.
Do you think that Conte kind of had his hands tied behind his back today because of the players that we actually had fit as well?
We're down to the bare bones again, aren't we? Yeah. And we don't have decent. We don't have decent replacements. The decent replacements that we did have playing different positions to what they should have been playing in, and they get injured, so they can't play. Yeah. So, but yeah, listen, we are down to the bare bones again. We need strengthening, and we need strengthening big. Other teams above us are not challenging for places. Newcastle in January are going to go batshit crazy. They go, here you go, Eddie. What do you want? What do you want, my friend?
So if you look at it though, let's look at the 3 above us at the moment: Newcastle, Arsenal, and Man City. They haven't had the same amount of injuries as we've had this season. So is it a case of if we had had our fully fit squad, even though they're not, a lot of us think they're bang average. Do you think that would have been? Do you think we're doing in a better position now, or do you still think it would be exactly the same as it is?
Mate, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda, and even when the other teams have had injuries, they've had players that come in that play in that position that can do the job.
So Conte
said, you know what, like you said, you've got to look as well with our medical team. Our medical team are just, I think they're incompetent.
Yeah, look, Brian, I think, I think you're right. But Conte said that he doesn't. He's happy with the size of the squad. It's just the quality. But I mean, what? Is it just the quality, or we're still lacking in depth?
Well, no, mate. Like you said, He's come out this week and said, I don't know what the club are doing. I don't understand. I'm not aware of what we're doing. Where have we heard this before? And he even said, I'm happy with the size of the squad. I just want to get rid of the bit parts and get them ready with ready-made. Unfortunately, ready-made cost money. Jed Spence can't even get on the bloody bench.
But
Inspired signing. Inspired.
One for the future.
Yeah. Is this the problem that Spurs are going to have?
Hold on, I'll ask you a question. Give me one player that we've had player for the future that have been there for the manager that signed him.
Good point. There's a good point. But is this not typical Spurs though? Are we not used to this now? Like, are we just the more and more we fight it?
There's a difference to being right. This is the bit I've got to get across. There's a difference of being used to it and accepting it.
Yep.
People like myself and the person next to me do not accept it and try to fight and do what we do because we've been saying these for years. So there's a difference between accepting it and it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable that this is happening. But hey ho, because for the people I'm sure in the chat when I go back up being negative, there was one even said to me after the Sporting Lisbon game, this was one of the best ones, I've got to call it out. I should have been happy in that Sporting Lisbon 1-1 when he asked me for a positive, said, Eric Dyer almost scored a hat-trick. That's the fact. Eric Dyer almost scored a hat-trick and that was a positive. So Eric Dyer almost scored a header. Perisic completed a couple of crosses. And wonderful positives. But what do we end up with? 0. And do you know what? When everyone said, oh, this is it, the greatest Premier League start of our history, what's happened since?
No, agreed.
Well, do we also, where's our trophy for greatest Premier League start? But we all go, let's go on Twitter and tweet all about it.
Is this, as you would say, is this not now Daniel Levy's Tottenham in the sense of we're about moments instead of about trophies?
Mate, yeah, I think I'm fully aware of my stance on that. And funny enough, he's going to be very aware of that within the next 72 hours. And for the rest of the season, because I will be making my voice heard. Whether it's just me, a group of people, or loads of people that finally get up and do something about it. But I'm not accepting it.
And do you feel like Conte got the tactics completely right today, considering he had what he had at his disposal?
Mate, like I said, it's down to the bare bones. He went 3-5-2. I was talking with stuff, but Basuma I didn't think was good in the first half. I think he was incredible in the second half.
Yeah.
Incredible in the second half. Benson Core is just at the moment streets ahead of him. Streets ahead of anyone. He is absolutely on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
And you had Kane running about like a blue-ass fly all over the place. It's just we've got individuals. We've got individuals, but the shit around them, and I'll say like I always say, as soon as those players cross the white line, the result and the performance has absolutely nothing to do with Daniel Levy. The very fact that they can put on the white shirt, the very fact they can cross that white line and put in those performances has everything to do with him.
No, I agree,
Brian. Well, Brian, try and enjoy your evening. Have a safe trip. We will see you.
Stel wants to say one thing.
Go on then.
Stel, where is he?
What's up, guys? You all right?
You all right?
They let you out of the country. I'm not sure they're going to let you back in the country, Stel.
Stay there, Stel.
I'll stay here over London any day of the week, man. I've got no problem with that. Listen, Toronto's a great city. I recommend it to everyone. It's two things. Number one, big up to Toronto Spurs. This is the second international fan base I've visited. The passion, the singing, and the atmosphere for Spurs is no different to back home. I shit you not. It is so good. Our international support, I don't want to ever hear a Spurs fan cuss them. They are top draw. Come and see for yourself. The second thing is, I agree with Brian, everything he says about Daniel Levy and the squad and the players. But for me, it just goes to show that summer window was absolute bullshit. It hasn't built a squad of quality, because as soon as we've got a couple of injuries to key players, Hassan, Romero, Richie, we completely lack the ability to not dominate games. So I thought we dominated that second half and parts of the first half, but to kill it off and make it count, we lack that cutting edge. Other than Harry Kane, look, that goal by Harry Kane was a fantastic strike. That's a world-class finish. And the ball from Kulusevski was simple, but that's what you want.
Yeah.
No one else on the pitch is capable of than Perisic. Nobody else. And it's not surprising that both Sessegnon and Emerson got pulled for the subs. What team takes off the two wing-backs to bring on the subs? That just goes to show how rubbish. I'm not going to have any fan tell me that Emerson or Sessegnon are good or give them a chance or they're not good enough. They fail to deliver. So you look at them two on the pitch. Dyer, I've been saying for ages, he's rubbish. People say, oh no, he's had a good season. He's not good enough. Until we fix that back line, we're always going to be up against it, guys. And today, if you give 2 goals to a team like Liverpool or Chelsea or Man United, Newcastle, any half-decent team, so difficult to come back against Marseille, against Bournemouth, maybe a Brighton. It can be done. But against these top teams, you can't do that. And that is on the quality of our defenders, which is very, very low. And there you go, guys. That's what happened today. I think we deserve the draw overall. But listen, this squad isn't good enough, man. It's not. If we get top 4, it's been a good season for Tottenham, given what Conte's got to deal with. This has got nothing to do with Conte. Nothing. We were good in certain parts of the first half. That second half was all Tottenham. All Tottenham.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right? People need to get off the manager's back and just fucking get on Daniel Levy's back and start buying some quality players. Longley is not quality. We need quality at this club. And that's it, man. That's what I want to say. Big up Toronto Spurs. Big up to... I can't see who's in the studio because it's so small, but whoever's in the studio, big up. And just before we go, I've just got to get back to Brian.
Yeah.
I've just got to wait up. Conte in, Levy out.
I'll let you get on with the rest. I'll let you get on with the rest of the show, and I'll end off. And as always, Levy out.
Levy out. Big up, Brian. We've had a super chat here. We should have won. 2 pens not given, even though yesterday in the City Fulham game, the same VAR officials gave Fulham a penalty for less. Well, yeah, look, I think we all agree, even some Liverpool fans agree that was a penalty, and I think it's not down. It's down to the consistency
This is
of
the problem.
the referees.
Yeah.
We've got we say we play in the best league in the world, but we have the worst. We have like Division 4 referees and VAR officials.
And this is the issue. Like I know a lot of people will go at VAR, and I'm an advocate for VAR. I just think there's a problem when you've got English referees using it. They're not good enough without it, and they're not good enough with it. It shows you that the quality of the officials in this country is poor. Fix that, you fix VAR. Yeah, the Champions League has a few minor issues with it as well, but they're a lot better. They're a lot better when it comes to officiating stuff. It just takes them longer. But with us, it's just terrible all round. They get a second chance and they still mess it up.
Yeah, and look, I think if you look at all the other sports, you've got it in rugby. You can hear, what they're talking about. Same with cricket. That they've had it for a long time and they fixed it. But how we can have it in the in the amount of money that's flying around versus those other sports is just incredible.
I tell you now, take VAR away, the referees are still just as poor. And and we will all be sitting here going, I can't believe they've done this. I can't believe they've done that. I think everyone's forgetting the period of before VAR, how bad it was. And that's the only reason why it came in, because we all called for it. But the problem is, we can see it, they can't. They somehow want to see something completely different to the rest of the world.
Yeah, 100%. Right, so he's back on his sofa again. He's walked away from his other angle. He's back on his sofa, and it's Hassan. How you doing, Hassan?
Hey guys. Yeah, not too bad. How are you guys?
I'm kind of all right, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I should be like down in the dumps, but I'm kind of all right based on that performance. But yeah, again, it's a tale of two halves, and we've fallen short against another top 6 team.
Yeah.
Give us your take, Hassan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you summed it up pretty well. And look, I listened to what Stell was saying before, and I'm probably going to get a lot of grief for going down this direction. But I think, rightly so, you blame Levy and Enoch for not investing. previously, and still having Davies and Dyer as your starters, right? That you put that blame on them. You put the blame on the players themselves. I thought we were playing all right in the first half. We were okay. And then obviously Dyer made that error. No one's marking Salah for the first goal. So then you put the onus on the players. And this is the one that's gonna frustrate people. And I took my time to try and evaluate this one before saying it. But I do think Antonio Conte has to take a little bit of grief for this result. And the reason I say that, and people
Go
will
on,
say,
Hassan, tell us the reason
and,
why.
and people say it's the quality of plays, and I understand that the quality of plays is poor, and for those errors that Dyer make, you can't put him accountable for that. Misplaced passes, you can't put him accountable for that. But the way our two halves, or the way we play when we concede, the stark difference between them, it shouldn't be that much of a gap if it's purely based on plays. It should be a small difference, them going, oh, you know what, maybe I should do this, or I should do this a bit better. The fact that we had the same XI up until about the 66th minute, I think, is when he made the Kulusevski change. So about 20 odd minutes, it was that same 11 that played the first half. But for some reason, we were playing a lot better. Like Stell said, the second half was all Tottenham.
Yep.
So how can you have the same 11 but play so differently in terms of pressing, attacking? I mean, you saw Bentancur and Højbjerg, they were so much up. They were so much higher up the pitch. And that's a positional change. That's a tactical adjustment. So, look, I'm not giving him the full blame, and I understand he's working with the bare minimums. But why do we wait until that concession or when we concede a goal for us to make that change, press more, play more? And look, people will say that, they hit us on the counter-attacks, our defense isn't good enough. But in the end, we didn't concede in that second half. It was in the first half we conceded when we sat deep.
Yep.
So for me, that's the only thing I'd like him to change. I understand that's his way, right? That's his way. And with good players, it works perfectly because you have good defenders who can soak up that pressure and then you can hit them on the counter perfectly. But we don't have that. And the more that we sit deep and the more we soak up pressure, the more you're going to see these errors formulate, especially if Romero's not back. So that's the only thing I have on him. And the rest is, I think a lot of people have summarized that with lack of spending, quality of players. And that's just repeat, rinse, whatever, go again. It's the same stuff.
Quick question on that, because you said something there. So, but if Liverpool
Yeah,
go in at
go
1-0
for it.
at half, if Liverpool go in 1-0 at half time
Yeah.
and not go in with that second goal, do you think
Yeah.
Liverpool then don't try and protect their lead, and we don't obviously play that way in the second half? Maybe Liverpool would probably try and come at us, because I know it was all us, but do you think Liverpool went and
Yeah.
played, went, we're 2 goals up, we're going to protect this now because of how bad they've been away from home? So do you think actually you can say it was all us, but it was only all us because
Yeah.
Liverpool had a 2-goal lead?
I mean, that's going to play a little bit into it. I think that's why in the second half we look so much better, is because we've always conceded a number of goals, so the team is protecting it.
Yep.
Today, I sort of in my mind had already come to the conclusion that we would have gone behind before we start playing properly. So in that second half, I tried to analyze it tactically, what the changes were in that second half to come out. And yes, Liverpool did sit a bit deeper. They were the ones who were counter-attacking. But I just saw our players up the pitch more. I just saw Højbjerg and Bentancur being so much more involved in the attacks. Eric Dyer decided to play right wing back. Like, he wasn't doing that in the first half. Like, how many times was he crossing the ball in or moving to that space on the right-hand side? So those are tactical adjustments, right? So I just think that we could try that from the start. And look, if it goes sideways, then you can revert back to what you were doing before. But it's just people. Yeah, go on.
Do you not think that we have tried that in previous games where we've tried to attack, but where we've kind of don't have the players to do it, we end up getting found out? Because I take Bournemouth last week. We didn't try and defend it. I know we went with a lot of defenders, but we kind of we were just vulnerable at the back. So it's kind of a case of
that's why I'm not putting it all on Conte.
Yeah, because
I feel like
I feel like what you're saying is actually what Spurs try and do is, if we can try and give them something to protect, then we can go at them, because actually they open up for us to then do what we need to do. So that's probably why Conte does it, because if you're going by what you're saying is, if our defense are not good enough, if we're going to be more offensive, is that just not going to lead to more problems anyway?
It might, but how are we gonna assume that without having a go at it? That's just my only issue,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm not putting like this entire loss on Conte. I'm not saying Conte out or anything like that. It's only a small, maybe 10% on him and 90% on Enoch and the players combined. It's not a big target. I'm not going off at him. It's a recurring theme now, right? Sporting, Marseille, Bournemouth, now Liverpool, and we faced a team who finally don't succumb to that pressure as easily. And we weren't able to, even though I think we probably should have got one more goal, we weren't able to get through that. So the more tougher teams you face, that tactic or that thought process that Conte goes through isn't gonna work, and we saw that today. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, Conte is trying his best. Sure, there's tactical tweaks that he could do earlier to help us, but the players, the investment is the main source of the issues we have. I mean, Emerson Royale today, I didn't want to pick on him because I thought he was okay in the first half, but I mean, some of the stuff he saw in the second half, I just don't know.
Hassan, so what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What are you talking about? He played one bad cross and he got absolutely hounded by the fans, and then after that he got taken off because he couldn't make a decision because he was worried about the fans. He wasn't the worst player on the pitch today. And when he's not the worst player on the pitch, it's very easy to point the finger, right? I disagree with your 10% on Conte, and I disagree with your Emerson Royale. He was awful.
Yeah.
Come on, it's easy to blame him, right?
I mean, that's fine to disagree with my takes. That's the whole point of having opinions. But
Yeah, of course.
yeah, for me, I'm not scapegoating him, or I'm not saying that. I'm just focusing on those areas. Sessegnon as well, because wingbacks are our most important part of the system. If Doherty had come on and done a bad performance as well, I would equally put the blame on him as well. And I don't think he did great either when he came on.
Do you know who I blame, Hassan? I blame Christian Romero because he is not injured. He's saying it's muscle fatigue because he wants to play in that World Cup. Why is nobody calling out Romero for his bullshit that he's done in the last week or so? That's what I want to know.
And I've got another question for you on Romero.
He's only played one in the last 7 games for Argentina. So it's not like he only plays for Argentina when he gets injured. And look, fans are frustrated. I understand. I get that. And I'm one too, because without him in that back line, we look very shaky. But for me, I just think the way he plays, right, he is rash. He will get into a lot of silly injuries and stuff like that. And we don't rotate him because we don't have a proper backup to him. It's Davinson Sanchez, right? You saw what happened when we rested Romero and put him for that. So, look, I don't know the full behind the scenes, whether it's an injury, whether it's not. I just think there are more context behind his injury or his desire than what meets the eye to people. But that's just my take. I don't want to get too into that. But
cool.
What's the other question you guys had?
Yeah, no, on the Doherty thing, do you think actually the only reason why he could come on and play well, and maybe we could have seen it if Emerson stayed on the pitch, was because actually Kulu coming onto that side just helped the dynamic of the game?
I mean, yeah, I think before Kulu and Doherty had a good relationship anyways, on that right-hand side when he was getting a run of games. And even when Emerson plays there, he sort of just passes off to Kulusevski and he lets Kulusevski do the rest.
Yeah, and I think that's what Doherty was doing as well today. He literally just would give it to Kulu.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not praising Doherty. I think both our wingbacks are like rubbish. I know Doherty scored and did okay in that period, but I just think for what a wingback, I mean, you compare what Perisic does, the amount of crosses he puts in the box, the amount of chances he creates, and you put them to the right-hand side. I mean, how many crosses come from that side that aren't from Kulusevski? How many accurate... I mean, Dyer was the one who's giving better crosses than those two. So it's not me picking on Emerson or anything. I know they're worse players. I'm just saying wing-backs are the issue for me today as well.
Absolutely, but it's an easy narrative, right?
Yeah, it is. It is an easy narrative. And I don't think the fans helped at all because, look, I don't think Emerson is right for this team, and a lot of people agree with that. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
he is a person. He is a human being. He's 23, and if 60,000 people start not booing but moaning every time you touch the ball, it's going to have an impact on you, no matter how mentally tough you are. So I do feel for the guy. It's not his fault. I know he's spent a lot of money to try and improve,
Let me
but
let
it's
me
just
let me
not
just
working.
give you
And
let me give you a
it's just
stat
not
that
the
Hassan.
thing.
Let me give you a stat that everyone
Yeah, go
loves
for it.
to talk about. Sofa score, right? They gave
Yes.
Eric Dyer. He
Yeah,
was our
7.4.
second best player
Something like
today.
that.
Second best player on the
7.4.
pitch. Is that absolute? Perisic was the best, 7.5. Eric
Yeah.
Dyer, 7.4. Absolute
Yeah.
nonsense.
Yeah, because if I was going to ask you about Perisic, do you think, because you said about Perisic and his crossing earlier, do you think that Conte got it wrong by playing Perisic further forward in that first half because it just meant we had no one crossing into that box?
I mean, I don't know if he had a choice, and that's the problem. I don't think he had a choice. I think Kulusevski was touch and go. Lucas was touch and go as well.
But could he have not played
So who's he going to put up there?
Could he have not played Cesc further forward, who's played there previously in the
As a left
past,
winger.
and put Perisic on the left? Because everyone was going that Cesc obviously pocketed Salah last year, but he's not going to do it again, is he? And this is the thing, he's been terrible with defending. So why not give us some pace? We had no pace in that first half up front. Kane and Perisic, literally, and Perisic. As soon as you put Perisic on the left in the second, like you said, he got crosses in the box. So would you have not tried it the other way around?
It's ifs, buts, and maybes. You know, like if we put Cesc left wing, he might have got bullied by Van Dijk. He might have not had a single opportunity, so we don't know. Maybe it would have been a better option. Maybe it wouldn't have been. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think it's a loss which I think lots of us expected. It's a loss which is a bit tough to swallow, considering how we did play a lot better in the second half. But look, I think the World Cup has come at a very good time for us. Only one more league game against Leeds. If we can win that, hopefully stay in that top 4, and then fingers crossed January. I don't know, something happens.
Fingers what?
Fingers what? Interested FC making inquiries. United. Look, Hassan, I said this. I said this to Brian earlier. If you would we will go into the World Cup still in the top 4 unless something happens. There's a 10-goal swing from Man United next Saturday, right?
Okay, cool.
Would you have taken being in the top 4 and winning our group and going through to the knockout stages at the start of the season with this bunch of players?
I would have. And I think that's the answer you're going to get from a lot of people. And then the second part will be the but for the performances.
Yep.
And a lot of people are going to put back to the summer transfer window and how that was lackluster. And look, I agree. But look, as much as some of the decisions Conte makes frustrates me, some of the selection choices he makes frustrates me, you can't deny the accomplishments he's made with this group of players. You know, a year ago, knocked out the league, knocked out the group stages of the Conference League, 10th in the Premier League, something like that, and now to be 4th and going out to the knockout in the Champions League, it is a massive turnaround. So as a Spurs fan, you're in that grey area where like you're upset because the performances are good, but also you're happy because the results are in a positive manner. And it's hopefully trying to get an equilibrium between the two where if our players come back fit, you know, touch wood, nothing happens at the World Cup, we do somehow sign some decent players, then maybe the performances start improving and maybe something happens to the end of the season. And I think that's all we can do for now. God knows what happens in January. But that's...
Yeah, look, we're absolutely, Hassan. Look, we've out of the last 5 games, or even the last 4 games, we've lost 3 of them, 3 of the last 4. So we're kind of in a rut. And like you said, the World Cup has probably come at a good time for us, as well as it's come at a good time for the teams around us that are in form, like Newcastle, like Arsenal.
Just before I leave and I go, I just want to end on a positive note. It was very nice to see Kulusevski back.
Yes.
It was very nice to see him back on the pitch, straight away getting an assist. And I think Stowe mentioned it wasn't a extravagant pass. It wasn't anything crazy, but it's something that none of the other players were doing apart from Perisic, and just a simple pass and a great finish by Kane. And hopefully him and Richarlison can get some minutes maybe in that cup game, get them back up to some decent fitness, and if we can end it on 2 wins, it might put away some of the pain we felt for the last few league games. Hopefully,
I don't think it will. I don't think it will, Hassan. But yeah, thanks for your call, buddy.
no
We'll
worries.
see what happens on Wednesday.
All right, see you later, guys.
Take care. So we've just. I still can't get over Dyer was the second best player on the pitch. It's absolute nonsense. Right, we've had it from Antonio Conte speaking to Sky Sports. It's difficult to explain the defeat tonight. We deserve much more, but also after the first half in the dressing room, I was happy with the desire and what we did. We put a lot of pressure on Liverpool and were 2-0 down, but we didn't know why. Well, we all know why, because of Dyer. Yeah. In the second half, we played really well. Their goalkeeper made good saves. We hit the post and the crossbar. I think the result is unfair. It is difficult to explain this type of game. For sure, the performance was good. We are managing a situation with many, many injuries, and we need to find new solutions. This type of performance against a team like Liverpool gives me satisfaction, as it shows the hard work works. Yeah.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
That is it is frustrating. You can
tell he was happy because he didn't exactly change it at half time. He went out with that same 11, and you could see it was working. But the problem is, if you don't have the players to play it, they are going to make mistakes, and you can see that where Dyer, Royale, Cess, all of them are to blame because defensively as a unit they're not great. But we were better look. As soon as he could bring on Kulu, his hands were tied today, and that's the one thing we have to get out of this. His hands were tied. The injuries have completely come at the wrong time for us. And having Kulu out for how long he's been out for,
he comes back and changes the game within 80 seconds. I mean, that just goes to show, doesn't it? Yeah. Just goes to show the quality and the depth that we've got in this squad. So. Yeah, I'm glad I'm for one glad that he's back. That's for certain. So
yeah, just in time for Leeds.
Just in time for Leeds. We hope so. Right, let's get on to the next caller. Haven't seen him in a while. It's Michael.
Hello, boys.
How you doing, mate?
How you doing?
Yes, similar to you. I cannot be mad about this performance. Like I honestly don't know how to feel about it. And, I was wondering that we can talk about the referee or whatever, or Dyer's mistake, but I don't really want to rage about it because as much as it was disappointing, overall, I'm not disappointed with the performance. So I decided, if you don't mind, to direct my rage somewhere else. And I will just say, because I'm a bitter person, I will say to Klopp, nice 5-5-0 formation. You glue sniffing twat. Like,
yeah, that's got to be the quote of the night, right?
Yeah, because I'm bitter because of what he said last season. If you remember, after the 1-1 draw at their place, he came out after the match and he was all like, I didn't come here to play defensive football. I don't know how you can play like that. Yeah, you had no attackers on the pitch for the last 20 minutes of the game. And you won against City having 36% possession at your own ground. Like, pipe down, Klopp, okay? And I think that's my rage off. I think that I've let it out. So, I'm gonna be honest. I was happy with how we played when we had the ball in the first half and especially in the second half.
Yeah,
I actually think many people will not agree with me, but I think it was one of the best performances this season, in my opinion. I know that 4-1 against Soton was better because of the scoreline mostly, right? But I think overall, the first half of this match was way, way better than the first halves of any of the previous 5 to 7 performances.
Yep.
And I was talking with my mates, right? I was talking on a group chat on Messenger where I'm with like 15 buddies of mine, and I'm the only Spurs fan there. Most of them are Arsenal and United fans, right? And just before, we aren't from England, so there is not as much banter as it's usually there with yeah, like all they said after like 10 minutes of the second half was, why aren't you playing like this for the whole match? Because
Yeah.
in the second half we were absolutely on all over them. We dominated that game. I was honestly so pumped watching us. It was similar to like the best performances of the previous season, in my opinion. The only thing that we lacked was that cutting edge, that finishing, which was heartbreaking for me, because as we all said, I don't think we deserved to lose that game. And now we can get on to the refereeing decision, and like I'm similar to your guys' opinion. I think that VAR is a good thing. I mean, as a tool to use to make the games more fair for both sides. The problem is people using it, and honestly, how some of those decisions weren't made there, it's just heartbreaking for me, because
so, Michael?
I like you. I really like you.
whatever. Look. For me, it takes away the ability to celebrate a goal.
But does it? Because
Yeah, it does.
So the last minute goal for Højbjerg on Tuesday, do you celebrate that with VAR or without VAR? You still celebrate it, don't you? No matter what, you still
You
celebrate.
do, but
Yeah,
then you're like, is it?
But you still celebrate. It doesn't.
Yeah, but
It
it
just
takes
brings
it away.
it brings another dimension, because you get to a point where you'll celebrate last minute winners no matter what, with VAR or not. But
Yeah, look, I think
it's the second part of it where you go, oh shit, is it onside or not? Because that's the next part. But you're still going to celebrate last minute goals with VAR or not, because Lucas Moura, you still celebrate that. VAR was there.
I know.
It's
like-
a foul argument.
But look, I think it's look. For me, it's about, like you say, it's about the people using it. I also feel that it's about the consistency, and the refs just aren't good enough. There's no consistency from game to game.
Nope.
There's no that they can't even count. I've just seen a message on, like you're saying about groups. They can't even count 10 steps for a wall.
But this was happening before VAR.
Of course it was, but come on, there should be consistency.
But
Look,
there's not, because even before VAR, the consistency wasn't there. Look how many times
Yeah,
Ferguson.
exactly,
Look how many times Ferguson used to get decisions for Man United. If Ferguson was here now, we'd probably see a lot less going for Man United, because everyone can see it. But you're still having the same issue with or without it. As he said, it's about the people using it. It's not the tool. The tool's there. We can all see it. Why, if we can work it out, why can't they?
wow.
Yeah, like
don't know.
my issue with it, and it's the same example that you gave, Barry, which is like Cancelo got red carded for shoving whoever it was from Fulham in the back, and it was apparently a clear goal scoring situation, right? And Trent just shoves Sessegnon in the back, like Sessegnon falls over, and there is not even a check going on, like that. Because honestly, I would be pissed, but I wouldn't mind if they at least checked some of those situations. There was no checks today. Like immediately after the fall happened or whatever, like the contagious situation happened, right? They all like proceeded with the game, and there was no check for the Sessegnon foul. There was no check for the Lucas Moura boot in the face. Also, there was a clear foul right in front of the penalty box on Højbjerg by Fabinho. There was a high boot from Robertson. Like there were so many bad refereeing decisions today. But what I want to say, and to add to that the Dyer's mistake, right? Like we can blame it, we can moan about it, we can be bitter, we can like say that we got robbed or whatever, right? But I think that we have ourselves to blame too. I mean, our team has themselves to blame too, because as Hassan pointed out, what's what's the issue with our team and them playing in the first halves. I mean, being focused. Because, as I said, I was happy with the performance when we had the ball in the first half, but when we didn't, like Nunez had 3 to 4 chances in the first opening 15 minutes where he wasn't covered, right? Dyer fucked up. I think that we were caught sleeping during the first goal, right? So, and there were 5 players around Salah and none of them marked him. So, there comes the quality issue that we all point out of Dyer not being good enough, Sessegnon not being good enough. Even though I think that he wasn't that bad today, I think that he was way better than Royal. But it's still not enough, right? For things that we want to challenge for, it's not enough. How good Sessegnon is, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not good enough, right? So yeah, generally, as I said, I don't know how to feel about this game because I'm on one hand disappointed that we lost. On the other hand, I think that's one of the best performances that we had this season. So, maybe you can tell me, boys, how should I feel about it? Because
do you know what, Michael? I don't know anymore with this football club. Whether to still be positive, whether to be negative, whether to just. Do you know what I will be? What will be good is in less than a week's time, I will not have to care about this football club until the 26th of December. Honestly, Marlon, we can sit there and talk about how crap England are, and I'm just going to be sat there like, this is brilliant. We don't need to worry about Spurs.
Everyone's with us this time instead of being against us.
Man. But you know what? We'll end up, do you know what will happen? We'll either end up getting knocked out of the group or we'll get to the semi-finals and then everyone will be like, oh, England should have won, and it'll be nonsense again. So, nonsense with these players that are going to be playing for the country. Oh, man, I don't know. I think I'm just going to take a break until December the 26th. I've got to sit through. I'm here on Wednesday for the Forest game. I'm here next Saturday for the Leeds game. I just want it to be this time next week, and I won't need to talk about Spurs for, I don't know how long. It doesn't matter. It'll be nice not to talk about them. Come on. We can talk about Southgate and his nonsense, you know?
Just a quick question.
I'm in a similar situation. As you know, I'm from Poland, and our national team has recently been, let's say, questionable with their performances. So this World Cup for me will also probably either it will either finish really quickly for me, or somehow we will scrape through the groups and probably get knocked out by some Brazil or Belgium or whatever, right? So yeah, the World Cup isn't a great place to be for me too. So
could be with us.
Oh my God! Yeah. I've just seen a tweet. Listen to this. This just sums up the delusion of some of these fans, right? Biggest takeaway from that game is that Spurs are going to be challengers under Conte. Give him what he wants, and Spurs are going to be a superb team next season at the latest. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Listen,
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say anymore. Michael, help me here, man. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm the most positive person, but I can't buy into that.
Listen. The only way that we could actually challenge next season would be if we spent 100 million in the winter and 250 in the summer, and all of those signings land. Then maybe we could challenge but we all know that's not going to happen. And listen, I'm not as negative minded in terms of the future of the club. I think that Conte is a wonderful coach. I see positives compared to when we were under Mourinho, when we were under Nuno. I even see some improvements as to in this season, right? From the performance against Sporting and Arsenal when we lost 2 in a row to this performance. I think there is some form of progression. I think that we got a bit better, but I'm done with saying that we are going to click, because apparently we are not. And how much longer can we sit here and persist with the narrative that we are going to click? I think that's the level that we have to deal with for at least 2 more games. And I'm all in hopes that after the World Cup, I don't want to say that we will click, but we will have all of our players hopefully uninjured after the World Cup. Hopefully, touch wood or whatever, right? And I think that if this team gets supported by not necessarily like top signings in winter, like if we sign a good center back, not like top class Guardiol or whoever, right? But if we sign a good center back to hopefully displace one of the center backs that are faulty at our team right now. If we get an attacking mid like Malanowski, right? Apparently we are in for him this winter. I hope, because I think that he is actually a player that provides something that is missing in our team, which is good set piece taking, like the fall kicks in front of the goal. I think that he has a nasty strikes, right? Sorry, I have to mute someone in the back. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I think that if this team gets supported, we will end up in top 4. And honestly, as much as I wanted to dream about achieving something bigger this season, I think that's the most realistic target that we can set for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I will be happy if we end up in top 4. I know it's not a trophy. I know that fans who are fans for much longer than me, right, who are waiting 15 years now to see a trophy, I know that they are getting pissed off but each day. I'm a younger fan. My experience with Tottenham is way shorter, so I maybe have more patience. But I think that ending up in the top 4 and fighting for a domestic cup is satisfactory for me. So, like, depends on what your expectations are. Right?
Well, I've got 6 rooms going for Istanbul if anyone wants them. So
Any Liverpool fans out there?
any fans from the other clubs that are likely to get to the Champions League final, hit me up because I've got some rooms booked. So yeah, look, we all want to be positive, Michael. We all want to try and get somewhere. We want to see improvement. Only time will tell. Time will tell.
Maron, you had a question for me. Sorry, but it was like 5 minutes ago. I don't know if you still remember it.
I've forgotten it. Sorry, mate. This team, that's what it does to you, Michael. Yeah. It makes you forget things.
I was too busy listening to you. So it's all good.
Big up, Michael. Thanks for the call. We got loads of people in the back room. Good to see you. We'll see you again soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, so yeah, I've got 6 twin rooms, Istanbul, 4 days there for the Champions League final. If by some miracle we get there, we'll be there. But
I might just take one off you just to go for the experience.
Just for the experience to say you've been there. Right, someone's let the dogs out. Who's let KPV out?
What's up, boys?
What's up, KPV? You're happy, mate. What are you happy about?
Like, the only thing makes me happy is Kulusevski coming back because I'm wearing his shirt.
Yay!
Kulusevski's back and made an impact, and he was immense. So, setting up Kane for the goal, a world-class strike, another goal against Liverpool. So, well done to him. But, yeah, I like what Michael said about Klopp. That's the quote of the night.
Yeah, big up to Michael for that quote.
Yeah, quote of the night. It certainly kept us interested. That was, mate. So, KPV, your thoughts on the game? Apart from Kulusevski being back for you.
Apart from that, like, first half, we were shocking as always. I don't know why can't we turn up first half? That's been going on all season. Like, don't know what's been going on with us, but need change. Like, Dyer, yeah, and you have a sort of backline out. But what's been going on at the club? Like, Royale's not good, Dyer's not. Like, don't know what's going on here, but sort the backline out. Daniel Levy, get your checkbook out, sort it out. We are tired of this performance. First half, we never turned up. Second half, we were all over them. Second half, like, we won the second half 3-1, I'd say.
If that's the way it is, I'm going to go by your table. I bet we've won most of the second half.
Yeah, like,
we're top of the league.
Like, yeah, second half, we were all over them. we were all over them. Let's be honest. Like, that was all Tottenham second half. Kulu coming on and Lucas coming on. Like, yeah, I think Chelsea has to go to Kulusevski. Brilliant performance, but like we have not beaten these little homes since 2017, as the stats says. But we just can't
Yeah,
seem to
Wembley,
beat them.
Wembley 4-1, wasn't it? What a difference!
Yeah.
What a difference since that result in both of our fortunes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Says it
that
all.
was the last time we beat them. And Klopp even took Lovren off at half time because Kane had him in his back pocket. And like, yeah, I bet like Lovren must be watching the game he was and happy with the win. But not like I would say the performance was brilliant, as the gaffer said, but the performance was the result was unfair. We should have had 2 penalties. The same official that sent off Conte yesterday didn't look at it, and VR should have had a look. And thanks to Brian Dacre for stealing my spotlight, Liverpool has struck again. Like, yeah, Liverpool has struck again. They've got the Saints, and I'm going to say this again. I am not putting that forward in my FPL team. That forward is not going in my team. Mo Salah is not going in my team. Everyone's probably got him in their team, but he's not going in. 2 goals, lucky bastard. But anyway, revenge will come in the new year. Anfield, I know we don't do good, but Ronaldo is definitely going to play because we've only got the big tournament coming up. But like the good news is we got the draw tomorrow for
We
the
have
UCL.
something to look
And
forward to.
yeah,
Well, maybe not to look forward to if we pull out
No.
PSG, right? Because I know Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar are absolutely cacking themselves facing Emerson, Cesc, Dyer, Longley, and Davis, right?
yeah. I don't want PSG though because we
Can
already
you
played
imagine?
PSG.
And PSG. Oh, you have Tottenham Hotspur. Oh, great. Yeah, we're out.
No, that's not going to happen. I'd rather take Benfica. I'd say Benfica.
Oh,
Like,
dear.
At this
dude,
present moment, I'll take nobody.
I'll take nobody, mate. I'll take nobody. I'll just let's just get the draw done. Get Wednesday and Saturday out of the way, and let's just worry about
Yeah, let's just worry about that. Like Wednesday, Nottingham Forest away. Like we've already won at their place. That was a few months ago, but it's Forest to worry about. Then we got Leeds, who have now done what we did, come from behind to win. Beat Liverpool last week. They beat Bournemouth, but they're not going to beat us. Conte was going to actually beat them 2-1 last season at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we won 2-1. Can we beat Leeds again? Of course. We have their number. 3 wins, actually, what, 3 wins so far against Leeds, 1 loss, but they've got Somerville, who probably going to likely score again, but Wednesday to look forward to, then the weekend. So, yeah, but brilliant performance from the team. First half shocking, second half brilliant. Perisic was I see SofaScore gives Perisic 7.5, Dyer 7.4. Like Dyer, shocking. Perisic, okay, but Dyer 7.4. SofaScore are nonsense.
Proves their nonsense after the
Exactly.
race.
Absolutely, Carl. Right, Carl. We got a few more people in the back room. I'm sure we'll see you on in the week. What's your plans for Saturday night? What you got on the radio?
Oh, who let the dogs out? And next weekend, like this week on Wednesday, who's gonna let the dogs out? It's gonna be Ben, and it's gonna be you and Danny Kiriakou.
We're gonna let the dogs out, are we?
Yeah, Danny Kiriakou, and you're gonna let the dogs out, but it's gonna be Danny. I know he's watching this. Is he in the chat? Is he in the chat?
I don't know, mate. He's on his way. No, I think he was at the game today. He was on his way back from Amsterdam. So yeah, he'll be here with me on Wednesday. So we'll tell Scruffy to get back and smash the Forest on Wednesday.
Yeah, Forest again. But Yeah, I'll see you all Wednesday. And as always, Levy out.
Big up, Kyle.
At least he's being positive about the whole situation.
It is. There's only one way to do it. Right, this man, the next man who's coming on, will his battery last? He's not in his car. Let's see. It's Josh. He was nearly on mute as well. He nearly let that one go.
Yo,
Nick. What are you saying, Josh?
Yes, mate. What's going on? Oh, mate, what a shit day, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
What a shit day, man. Yeah, we just got to take it on the chin. I don't think we were that bad, you know. I'm with you. I know you were saying, like, you don't know how you know, you don't know if it's like a bad feeling. Like, you know, after a normal loss, you feel like shit. You know, this has a little bit of silver lining in it because we probably deserved a draw, man. We probably deserved a draw, I'd say, based on the whole 90 minutes. I know people are talking about Tottenham's first half and a lot of the media are focusing on it. But over the 95 minutes, 94 minutes, I think we deserved a draw, man. And it might have even been a pen, you know, in that first half. So I don't think Spurs fans should be too hard on themselves or too hard on the team. I think Liverpool got away with one. And, 2-2 would have been a fair result, for sure.
Where do we go from here, Josh?
Where do we go from here, mate? We got to Nottingham, and then from there we come back. Let me know, mate. Let me know. I'll jump in yours. I think. Look. Best start to the season. I don't know if that's still true. If you take however many games we play, I don't know if that's still the best start ever. I was looking at the Premier League table whilst I was waiting in the back end. And last season, we lost, like over the whole campaign, we lost 11 and we got 71 points and we drew 5 games and that got us top 4. I think this season with the crap that, you know, with Chelsea and United and Liverpool and everyone sort of falling off a bit, obviously Newcastle have entered it now.
Oh.
Frozen. Oh.
Something going on, Vinny? Is he frozen?
4 and we've drawn 2. Yeah, we've lost 4. So on that, if you're looking at it from that point of view to get to 70 odd points, we can still lose another 7, right?
Okay.
So 11 and 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, you take that as a loss, the losses we've got, I mean, the draws we've got. So actually, season on season, I know you're supposed to improve, and Liverpool fans will be saying that about their team and Chelsea. You know, why haven't we improved? But I think we're on track to finish top 4. And I think, you know, we will get top 4. I think we will get top 4 just about. We are missing players, guys. We're missing our best defender, our best winger, our best sub off the bench in Richarlison, our golden boot man from last year, Heung-min Son. So let's not be too harsh on the team is all I'm going to say. And we came out late again. We came out 20 minutes late. We let Liverpool have, you know, the first 20. And I'm sure Klopp's team talk was this team sits back, go and get 2 goals. And that's what they did. Obviously, we gifted them one. You know, we totally gifted them one. You don't leave one of the best strikers in the world. You don't leave him anywhere near you in any way, shape or form. And Eric Dyer should have known, you know, with his experience, with Salah running in, I don't know if you didn't see him, obviously, because obviously his eyes were on the ball, or you'd like to think that because he didn't exactly connect. But to header it back when you've got Salah hanging around, just header it into, just put it out for a throw-in, man, or put it back up the pitch. But stupid from Eric Dyer, man.
I think even if he catches that sweep, Salah's still running in on goal, and it could have been even worse, right? Because you see Hugo charging out, he takes him down, he's sent off. Yeah, it could have been even worse.
Yeah, look, I mean, I put a tweet up at halftime of that screenshot, and you could see, like, you know, Salah's in line with him when he headers it, so he would have probably got to it. We would have got a toe to it, and he's quick. So you know, we caused that defeat. Liverpool didn't outplay us necessarily. Yeah, the first 20 minutes, Liverpool big up. We got back into the game, went into halftime 2-0 down, undeserved. We should have been 1-0 down or 1-1 if you think it was a pen. And then we came out and we bossed it because Liverpool retreated. And Liverpool allowed us back into the game by retreating because they don't have the confidence now to play They don't have the confidence to go for a third. They were waiting for a counter. They didn't want to. They didn't want to push too many men up. They wanted to keep it deep. They basically did a Tottenham on us by keeping it deep. And then obviously Bentancur with a header, Longley with a header. There were 2 or 3 good chances in that second half, which on another day would have gone in, and we might have even won that 3-2 if those 2 headers go in. Kane's flick on with Bentancur, is millimeters or centimeters in it. So I think the silver lining is we started playing from the 20th minute, not from the 45th or 47th or whatever. And the other silver lining is, or damage limitation, is we're wounded with plasters at the moment in terms of a squad. Liverpool will argue Jota and Diaz are not around, so they would argue their case. But in defence, I believe Romero would have stuck that header out, and I believe he would have been, Romero generally plays better than most of our defenders, well, whatever we've got at the back. So the bit of the spine is missing. And I saw things in that last, obviously the 45, but especially the second half as we came back into it. We could have gone in 1-1 if Eric Dyer hadn't done what he'd done. And what can you do if players make mistakes, man? It's not even down to coaching or anyone. It's just pure luck. Eric Dyer header in that back is just Eric Dyer's fault. You can't blame anyone for that. You can't blame absolutely no one. So I think it's not as bad as it looks on paper, and we probably should have got a draw, man.
Just going back to your comment about we're on track to getting top 4. Do you think the reason why we're probably complaining a lot more is because, one, we probably expected a lot more from this season, and Arsenal being top as well. But is it a case of it's when we beat Liverpool 4-1 all them years ago and we were the better side? Does it look like actually us beating Arsenal to the top 4 race? It looks like Arsenal have improved, but we're just staying still as we did all them years ago again.
Arsenal haven't got Saliba out. Arsenal haven't got Saka out. Arsenal haven't got major players out. Have they? I mean, I don't know of any injuries that Arsenal have had this season. They've pretty much had a clean slate. Arsenal's squad hasn't been tested like our squad in terms of depth, and they haven't played Champions League. So I would have loved to have seen Arsenal whack it out in the Champions League with 4 injuries and then see where they are now. Playing Bodo, whatever Bodo, I don't know what that is, man. Some car or something. Whoever they play.
To be fair,
Bodo, Glimmer and Carrot. Yeah, go on.
To be fair, when they actually did change it up, they lost the PSV. So there is.
I'm saying.
So
they ain't been tested.
Yeah.
They're tested in the Premier League. But mate, I'm not being funny, but on Wednesday, half that team's had their feet up. Secondly, most of that team's reported for training every day, bar the odd little injury if it was half a game here or there. So I don't even look at Arsenal and look at Spurs in the same pressure when it comes outside of the Premier League. Yeah. They've had it easy, and also that has an effect on the Premier League, because when you play on a Wednesday night away to Marseille, or you play on a Wednesday night away to Sporting, it's different to playing to Karabag or whoever they're playing. Do you know what I mean? The only thing they can complain about is the hours traveling, another hour's sleep on the plane or whatever it is, or extra air miles. But apart from that, man, you know what I mean? They ain't had what we've had this season. But I'm not going to speak about Arsenal because they are playing well. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not one of these Spurs fans that doesn't appreciate when a rival's playing well. They are playing well. They played well today. But I think for us, we're moving in the right direction. I know that sounds wrong coming off the back of a defeat, but I think Conte, with players coming back, with the evolution of what he's doing, and with the players knowing, I mean, Kane came out afterwards on Sky and he said, we're playing crap in the first half. I like the fact they know that. I'd rather they know the problem than not know what's wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that gives me hope. I'm going into Leeds thinking they're going to come out the first half after 10 minutes now, not 20, or hopefully after the first minute. Do you know what I mean? We'll get there. We will get there, chaps. We'll see it this year, hopefully. Maybe not this year, next year now because the World Cup. Where Spurs come out and actually score.
Josh, we'll see it when we're not in the Carabao Cup, we're not in the Champions League, and we're not in the FA Cup. That's when we'll see it. When we got
when we got 7 days rest. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's what we had. But look, I mean, Liverpool shit. Anyways, they're shit, man. Away from home shit. We made a shit team look better than they are. We gifted them a goal. They got away with a pen, and they got away with 3 or 4 gilt-edged chances at the end. I will say this though: Nunez did hit the bar, but I think he was offside, the crossbar.
Yeah, it was.
So that wouldn't have counted. Yeah, it was offside. So I don't think it's that bad, man. And I'm happy because, I thought if Spurs come out in this game against a shit away Liverpool and sit back in the first half, the whole first half, I will be pissed. Because I'll be like, why? It's not Bournemouth. It's not Bournemouth. It's not Man City. It's like as shit a team as Fulham at the moment, and Fulham are better than them because they're higher than them. So we had to go like we went and beat Fulham and Southampton out, and this was just another mediocre team coming to the lane, and we had to go out and get them. And we didn't until we went 2-0 down. So I'm still annoyed and I'm still pissed with it. But at least we started playing like around the 20th minute. And yes, 2 goals shouldn't be the antidote for us to start playing. But one was gift wrapped and there should have probably been a pen. That was a push in the back. I don't know about you guys, but if that's not a pen, look, in this day and age, everything's a pen. So how's that not a pen, if you know what I mean?
Well,
that's not a pen in 1980. Yeah, in 1982, whatever, when Spurs were winning trophies, that wasn't a pen. But now that's a pen, mate. In this day and age, that is a flipping pen, mate. And I don't know what it is with Liverpool, as per KVP's comments, but they've got like the Champions League final. They've got the decision. They've got the decision there. I thought the ref should have been sent to the camera, and then he could have decided if it wasn't a pen. The refs do have brains. They are like on the pitch. So I'm pissed off with the ref, as well. But yeah, it's not as bad as it looks, man. I know like people are like moaning a lot and that, and I get the moaning because I moan too, man. All Spurs fans moan. We're born with it. But what it is we're moving slowly towards something. And 70 minutes of that game, Liverpool were second best in tackles, in attempts, in everything. All they had was a scoreline because Eric Dyer decided to give Klopp a nice early Christmas present. We can't do anything about that.
No, we can't, mate. We can't. We go to Wednesday, like you say. Where do we go from here? We go to Forest on Wednesday, and then we face Leeds in the last game before the World Cup. And I, for one, cannot wait for the next 7 days to be over.
It, mate.
All right, Josh,
I think players coming back. Look, the positive. See you later, bro. See you later, man.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say what. Go on, say what you're going to say, Josh, and then we'll go. Oh, he's gone. Oh, okay.
See, what are you doing? You let him speak.
I was letting him finish, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, all right, sorry." Right, is this the last caller, Vinny? This is the last caller. He was at the game. I don't think he took a girl with him this time because he would have been cock blocked by 11 players like he was last week. He's brains.
You son of a bitch, Barry. You son of a bitch.
Hey.
I
would never take a girl to a Spurs game, mate. Come on, unless. Well, I'll take my wife, but she's my wife, so she's used to disappointment, mate. So
I thought you were gonna say I'd never take a girl to a Spurs game, but I've taken my wife. I was like, but she's not a girl. Like, what are you trying to tell us all?
Where is this going?
Right. Anyway, Brains, tell us about the game, mate.
Dude, it's dire in here. I feel like I'm dying in here. Eric Dyer's entire career is nothing but diarrhea. The man, he cannot play football. I swear to fucking God, if I had a player in my 7s or 11s team that was as bad as Eric Dyer, I would be wanted for murder. Like, for real. I'd be straight up wanted for murder. I'd kill him. I'd straight kill the man. Like, that ball going back, he had to duck. The problem why it had no pace on it is because it wasn't at the height to header. He had to duck down. And so he ducked down and caught it wrong. He should have just moved across, took it on his shoulder, bounced the ball that way. Salah's running there, take the ball that way. No problems anymore. No problems left. But he's such an impotent idiot. Like Eric Dyer is like if you have like a really slow friend or like a mentally ill friend, and by the way,
God.
No disrespect to anyone who really does suffer with any mental health problems. Like I'm sure you're a way 10 times better footballer than Eric Dyer, but it's like having someone like that in your friend group and letting them play in your football team because you don't want to be bad. But then they're going to play and they're going to get battered on the field. So you're just going to make their life worse. And that's what I feel like the last 5 years has been for Eric Dyer. 2-3 seasons ago, not this season, not last season, the season before, we literally lost 4 or 5 places in the league solidly to only his mistakes. Only his mistakes. If you calculated just his mistakes that he made, he cost 4 or 5 positions in the league. And yet this man is still and we even made a song for him. Like, oh my God, it's like he's not getting that song anymore. Nobody's singing Eric Dyer Loves Me anymore. Like, seriously, screw this man. I am done with that man. He's so bad.
Do you think his fiance is going to call off the divorce, call off the wedding because of how he performed today?
Dude, if she's watched that game, I genuinely, if I was her, I'd be like, take the dress back. Like, seriously, sorry, mom and dad. Sorry, you put like all this money at. Sorry, I can't marry this absolute fucking impotent prick. But Emerson Royale as well, though. You can't, like, honestly, if it wasn't for if Eric Dyer and Emerson Royale aren't playing today, we win that game. Like, there was nothing else wrong. The midfield played well. Sure, of course, we didn't have forwards making diagonal runs, but then Sonny's not been making diagonal runs lately. Kane, until he scores, looks just like an old man going from side to side, doesn't want to make a crazy run, doesn't want to do any work, doesn't want to do anything, comes deep, loses the ball. It's like, it's watching very slow football up there. But as soon as we get in positions to score, Kane will make it happen. Perisic played really well. Obviously it's been a while since he's played up front like that, but he did okay. You couldn't blame the performance on anyone else other than our back, by Eric Dyer and Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale, I was sitting today just in the south stand, just quite close to the wheelchair section, and the people in the wheelchairs were like almost jumping out of their wheelchairs, screaming to Emerson, "Run, you fucking idiot, run!" Like, people in wheelchairs are pelagic. That's how bad it is. Like, Jesus, someone just please, I can't. I live quite close to the stadium, so it doesn't take me a long time to get there, but some people travel from so far. Like Sai, driving all the way up from the seaside, where he could have been sitting there drinking his Malibus all day. He's driving all the way up to watch that, to watch two players royally screw everything up. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's like it is mental. Like, I don't know what people are saying. I was here. How about this? How about this for how absolutely crazy some Spurs fans are. At halftime, I was like, all right, this is a shit show. I'm going to go down and get a cold, dry burger and stale chips, you know, as a pick-me-up for how bad that was. And I pass a group of people, and one of them goes, "Eric Dyer is playing really well."
Oh my God.
And another dude next to him was like, yeah, he is. I'm like, I stopped and I looked back at them and just kind of looked at them, and they were like, and I was like, well, you know what, forget it. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with people? Like, genuinely, sometimes, like, if you go through, you know, the comments right now on this show, and if you go through, you know, the Irish Hotspur, that you've got people like blaming Longley, saying Longley shit. You got people. It's like, what are you watching, man? What are you watching? Longley was really good. Like Davies was really good. World-beating player every single game. Bentancur was also pretty good, but, you know, he can't be a world beater every game. But, like, you cannot look anywhere else in that park past Eric Dyer and Emerson Royale today. Seth's not strong enough. If we had good wing backs, Destiny coming next season, Seth shouldn't even get anywhere near our reserve team. Like, he's really not good enough. Like, we have to, like, stop just cuddling like players because they're from our youth system. It's like, you're not good enough. You're just not good enough. Like, other than that, though, like, it wasn't a bad performance. We can't say that things are going. We can't. Other than that. But, like, we had like 70% possession against, you know, Liverpool, even though Liverpool are dog shit this season. But I don't know, man. How did you guys feel about it? How did you guys feel in the studio?
I just kind of feel a bit like, look, I know we didn't play well. We could sit there and we could analyse it and say that there was the ref factor, there was this factor, there was that factor. I kind of, it would have probably been easier if we lost 3 or 4-0, really, than kind of lose kind of where I'm at. I don't know where you were at, Marlon.
It's the mistakes that are happening, because if you look at the Newcastle game as well, you look at last week against Bournemouth, it's mistakes after mistakes and mistakes, and it's coming from that back line. Like, I sit there and take your point about Royale, but today I didn't think he was completely the problem. I go, Dyer doesn't make that mistake. Dyer doesn't make that mistake for that second goal. We go 1-0 down at half time probably, and then we can probably stick it on them in the second half and probably get the draw. I think if you put Doherty out there and Kulu doesn't come on, I think we have the same problem. So I don't think it even matters which one of them plays out there. Yeah. So, but when you've got Dyer and defensive players making mistakes week in, week out, there's going to come a point where you've got to go, what are these players doing? Conte can only do so much with them. And I get some of his tactics are, we look at him and go, what's he doing? But I personally today would have swapped Perisic and Cesc round, because I just thought we didn't have enough pace up front. And I know Cesc is not the greatest players, but he's a more forward-thinking player. And I think when Perisic went out to the left in the second half, he was putting crosses in, which is exactly what we needed. So that was the only bit I would have said I would have tried that in the second half. But again, it's coming down to individual errors, and how do you cut them out? Because they're constantly happening, week in, week out.
when you're a midfield player, like you can, like people always say, like, you know, we made Harvey Elliott look like, you know, fucking as cool as Harvey Keitel today. Like, do you know what I mean? He was like, it made him look far too cool. But like the problem is, like, if you're a midfield player, everything starts from, like, if you're a defender, your confidence comes from your goalkeeper. Like, if you're a midfielder, your confidence comes from your defense. You know what I mean? And if you're an attacker, you get set up and you have confidence in being able to get the ball from the midfield. So all works through the team. So when you have someone making a mistake like that, your midfielders are going to sit deeper. They're not going to move for you. They're switch to play, cross field, switch to play. And that disorientates a team. Like, where's it coming from? You know, you can see we almost got stuff because we kept doing that. We can't do that in the first half. You can see there was a time where at one point, I don't know if it was Dyer was running up, he put this dreadful cross in, but Emerson Royal was wide open and he didn't pass the ball to him. And you could tell, like, he doesn't have faith in him. He doesn't have faith in him. And like when they're move, they just do everything so slowly, and that just lets a team sit in, see it all clearly. Everything's slow for them. They know where to get into place. And then by the time, like, no forwards can make any runs, because by the time Conte can tell you, that's how you get the ball here. You move it, you switch. You can teach you how to do that. But if you take ages to take a touch, get the ball under control, move it slowly. If you're moving slowly because you just can't think fast, because you're not, it should have been way good enough. That lineup, if a couple seasons ago, if you told me we would have Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Basuma as our midfield three, I would have said we would probably be, like, challenging for this title. But then you would have to tell me, who else you got around them? Eric Dyer. Oh, no, we're probably in the 10th in the league or something. Oh, we're fucking fourth.
Doris the tea lady, Ethel the kit lady. I mean, they'd probably be better. Oh man. Look, I think Brains look 100%. I think Longley has looked a lot better in that centre of the defence. The trouble is, you've got. I think the easiest way to explain it is clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right. That's
another
probably...
Pulp Fiction reference. No,
we're not talking about
no. There's no jokers tomorrow. There's a clown. There's a clown to my head. No, I'm only joking, man. But look, that's the only way to explain it, right? And I think we're all calling for an attacking midfielder, another striker. We need 3 or 4 defenders, man. This is what we need, because, you know, you're taking off the 2 wing backs, which are the kind of cornerstone of Conte's system, that just aren't good enough, and we know they aren't good enough. And yeah, then when you've got Dyer next to him and you've got Davis, and you just we're on a hide into nothing really. So that's where I think for me in January we need to strengthen.
Yeah. 100%. We need to prioritize. Number one is strengthen the back three. If we're going to play with a back three, have to have one or two more world-class players in, so that players. So if Dyer plays, he maybe doesn't play all the time, so that his brain just can't function after a couple games. Give him a little rest. Maybe he comes in and plays better. We will get Romero back, but then hopefully Romero will play better. If we have one or two more, just either one more world-class player and one other player like a De Vrij who's been world-class, who will just give a little bit of stability, like something like that. But we can't be asking for strikers and more wingers, and we have to be realistic. We're not going to spend a lot of money in January. Probably going to maybe buy 2, 3, max 3, probably 2. It's got to be defenders. One world-class centre back and a right wing back would be a dream. But. Man, it's like Barry. All I want to know is when you become the fucking travel agent, try to sell on those rooms. You got what you should do is like make like a We Are Tottenham TV 5-a-side team and go on tour over there playing football, and then you've got the fucking hotels, isn't it?
Yeah. Look. There's. I did it because I generally thought we might get there. Now I'm doing it to try and make a bit of money. So
win-win situation.
Because it was an early booking, right? So the 4 nights, it was like something ridiculous for 12 people. So hopefully I can sell it on and make some money on it. So because we're certainly not going to be there at this rate.
Need to start your own YouTube destination, location or something like Barry and location.
Who would book tickets to the Champions League in June with thinking that their team would get it? This idiot would.
It's got to be a vlog, innit? the idiot that bought Champions League rooms.
Oh, dear. Wow. I don't know. Anyway, Brains, thank you for
your
call, mate. An idiot abroad. Yeah, they've done that. Yeah, an idiot in N17. Yeah, that's probably more like it. So yeah, Brains, look, thanks for the call, mate. Loved your watch along for the Marseille game. I hope you. It seems like they have tidied up the studio after you threw beer all over it. So that's the main
I don't know what happened with that beer. I have no idea what happened with that beer.
It was a ghost, I think. It was a ghost. I think everyone was in shock that we topped the group. I think that was what happened. So we go to Monday. We go to tomorrow, mate, 11 o'clock, and look forward to seeing Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar wondering how they're going to get through Dyer, Davis, Emerson, and Cesc. So,
wow.
Can you imagine? We get PSG.
Shudder to think.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be crazy. But look,
Jesus Christ.
don't let it ruin your evening, Brains. There's one more week of heartache, and then we can, then we can talk about something else. So
Then we can get heartbreak from the World Cup. Yeah, that's all. I look forward to that shitstorm. Watching half our players getting their legs broken and coming back, and
it would be Tottenham. There'll be half the players will be injured, and then we'll have Skip and I don't know, Harvey White and maybe Jed. Even then, I don't think Jed Spence will play at right wing back.
We'll have to call back Winks or Lascelles. So.
I think we may actually. Talk about Harvey. I think we actually may have to sign Harvey Keitel to play at that point because we're going to need someone who's going to blow a motherfucker's head off. Like that's the only way we're going to win.
Oh dearie me. Nice cool. All right, big up, Brains. Thanks for the call, man.
Take care, lad. Take care. Peace out.
Peace out, buddy. Peace out. Oh well, we had murder. We had an impotent Dyer. We had a wedding called off. All that final call had it all. But look, Marlon, final thoughts.
I'm not being positive because I know it's just one game, and I got a feeling we'll go back to completely the same way next week against Leeds. Forest is completely different. It'll be interesting to see if Spence can't get into that team. It's kind of curtains for him under Conte. But Yeah, I don't know. I'm still a bit unhappy, but it was expected. And this is on Dyer for me. I can't blame it on anyone else apart from Dyer. And he didn't produce enough going forward in that second half either. So I'm a bit stuck.
Yeah, look, two massive games to finish before the World Cup. Vinny, you all right there, mate? You okay there behind there? Like dropping things or scared of a firework or the ghost or something behind you? Yeah. Look, we've got two massive games now. Forest, like you say, if Jed Spence doesn't play on Wednesday night, then he never will. And Leeds at home, which, they've got their tails up, 2 wins in a row. It's not going to be easy. They're going to come and attack us, which may play into our hands.
Especially
Who knows?
with Kulu back. If Kulu's going to play, Leeds are the team for him. So
yeah, 100%. Look, everyone, it's been emotional. It's not been the result we wanted. Marlon's never doing a watch along with me again because he's lost his unbeaten run. But look, we go again. It's Tottenham Hotspur. It's never boring. It's sometimes exciting. But look, Ben and Sim will be back tomorrow. Brian Daigle is back in the country on Wednesday. So safe flight to Brian. Hotspur Way and Daniel Levy are not going to know what's hit him. But from us, thank you very much for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.